I said there is no way that I can, cover, there were 5 borders at one point, and plus there were protests happening everywhere, inside Punjab, Haryana, everywhere. So I said, I can only tell a slice, of this movement, and as long as I'm able to convey the spirit. But whether I make a film or not, I was there, I've been going also as a participant in these movements. It's not just that I go there and I have to make a film. And the nature of this film also emerges from the fact that the farmers are also there long enough for me to make the film. I shot this whole film without any funding. I didn't get any funding. I only got funding later. You saw a lot of names, but they came only later after the farmers had won.
Oh, okay.
And so that's also the nature of funding. Huh? They want a story, a beginning, middle, and the end. Otherwise, it's just another protest. So, but for me, it didn't matter whether they won or not, because they're still struggling. The government has not given them MSP. So, but it was the nature of the protest that really moved me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a standing ovation right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nishtha. That was so powerful. And, something that will stay with me, and I think with so many of the audience here, is the sense of a microcosm, if you will, at such a massive protest site. And, you spent, give or take, 13 months there with your crew.
I mean, over 13 months, I shot for 135 days.
So if you could tell us, share a little bit of your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following movements for some time. I mean, they haven't turned into films because either had to, stop shooting or something or the other. And when this started, I just actually returned to India because I was caught in COVID lockdown in the US. But I was following the movement already since June 2020. And so when the farmers reached Delhi, I was seeing the news. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So I just started working with this young filmmaker we were working on a fiction script at the time. And I just said, why don't you go and go to the border and just see what's happening. So that was 28th November. And farmers reached there on 26th November. So 2 days later, he was there. I asked him to do like a recce of all the borders. The farmers were at 3 or 4 borders at the time. And then he gave me a sort of a detailed report of, he also shot. And then we were talking in detail as to what he saw and all. And I decided that I wanted to come and, then I came down. And what I saw, I came down within 10 days. And what I saw was unprecedented. I've seen farmers protest in Delhi because I've grown up in Delhi and they've been huge and they've changed government policies. But so when I saw this, I was just like, this is something special and I'm going to stay. So I decided that, and that was the decision to just stay. But who knew that it's going to go on for so long? And I shot this whole film without any funding. I didn't get any funding. I only got funding later. You saw a lot of names, but they came only later after the farmers had won.
Oh, okay.
And so that's also the nature of funding. Huh? They want a story, a beginning, middle, and the end. Otherwise, it's just another protest. So, but for me, it didn't matter whether they won or not because they're still struggling. The government has not given them MSP. So, but it was the nature of the protest that really moved me. And it was coming at a time when things were really, really bad in India. I mean, the Delhi movement, Shaheen Bagh had just been crushed. And we know what has happened in the last 10 years, right? So I think I was like, the drowning person hanging on to this hope. And I said, yeah, I want to tell this story. This is an inspiring story. We need, as a nation, we need to see this. So yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely an inspiring story. And towards the end, one of the um, key characters, if you will, says, right, someone has to step up and say when things are wrong. Someone has to call a spade a spade. And that is what, watching the film again backstage really hit me hard. Um, so speaking of the people you followed, there were three sort of central figures there. You have the young man who started off saying कि हमको नहीं पता था what this was all about, and then he keeps coming back. So what made you choose them?
I mean, I knew, first of all, before even choosing my characters, I chose the farm union about which I wanted to make the film, because there were, they started off with 40 farm unions, and then there were 400 by the end. And I knew that there's no way with one small team, one DSLR camera. I shot this entire film with one DSLR camera. I said there is no way that I can, cover, there were 5 borders at one point, and plus there were protests happening everywhere, inside Punjab, Haryana, everywhere. So I said, I can only tell a slice, of this movement, and as long as I'm able to convey the spirit. So I decided on this, BKU Ugraha. I really liked Ugraha. I have a huge respect for this leader, and I said, and his philosophy also matched with my own philosophy, so I said I'm going to stick with him. And so it's a film, so seen through this union. This is also the oldest and the largest union of Punjab, and they've never won a battle, and they've never lost a battle that they've taken. So it was very inspiring just to be around them. And so the film, I would say, is not all-encompassing. No one film can show. I myself have around 600 hours of footage. So this is not even 1% of what I have. So yeah, no one film can show everything about it. So this I just want to make clear that this is one aspect of the movement.
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah. And then in terms of other characters, I felt, for example, Gurbaz.
Yeah.
Gurbaz is also like a seed that the movement sowed, like he comes from zero, in the sense he doesn't know anything, ki farm unions are there, etc. There's a movement. And then you see him grow, a little bit. And so that gives you a nice kind of an arc. And then the women, of course, are important, but they're already like very converted women. They are part of this movement already. So I don't see an arc with them, but it was important to show them. So, these were just very simple considerations for choosing my characters. And there's so many other, sort of cameo characters. I didn't want to choose one, because how can you show this movement just through, some selection of people? It won't be right. Yeah. So I just try to diversify it a bit, but even that is limited, I feel. So that was what was behind the choice of characters, yeah.
Yeah, you really can't show a movement just through a few people, because that is what a movement is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to sort of take us back to last year, where we screened The Golden Thread. And both that film and this speak about, human rights and people fighting for it, but in completely different spaces. So, what was that like?
I mean, all my films are different. I don't have a format that I put onto a subject, and the treatment comes out from the subject, from characters, from people. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Golden Thread and this film is very different. There wasn't much of a fight. Jute workers right now, with the trade union movement so dead, the jute workers are not able to fight. But this is a film about empowerment. Yeah. The farmers are empowered, which the trade union movement is not. We saw another film today, by app workers. They're still fighting for unionization. And so, on one part, all the industrial unions have really weakened, but the farm unions have really still actually getting stronger and stronger. Yeah. And the government has tried to break the SKM, the United Farmers Front, and they've done all kinds of things, but these farmers are still united and strong, and that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So, I mean, I feel that the trade union movement could get inspired. So that's why the two films are very different in this sense, yeah.
So we can open the questions to the audience.
Hi, Nishtha. First of all, solidarity with you for making this film. My question, which is basically, so from Bengal we come, and our vision and the idealized version of a farmer is very different from the ones that come from Punjab. And it's not just in terms of the visual, the language, but of course, capital. But I know, like, at some point, the PKMU, the Dalit and the landless laborers also joined the movement. Do you have any first-hand account of the interaction between the two, if they were part of the strategic meetings and how they were brought into the fold?
So this is not just farmers from Punjab. Huh? So it's Rajasthan, Haryana, UP. So it's not just Punjab. Punjab was leading the movement. And so BKU Graha Union has, cultivated, what should I say, solidarity with the landless laborers who also joined and, supported this movement. But let's be clear, this is really a farmers, this is really a farmers movement, but they did support. And this particular union at least doesn't have, are trying to also work with the landless laborers. So, but they have a conflict as well, right? So it's very interesting that they are come under the same umbrella. So actually, I have a lot of that in my footage, but because of time consideration, I could not put it in the film. And I felt I didn't want to do like tokenism, isko bhi dikhana hai. There were Muslim also. There were a lot of people there, so I don't want to do that following a story.
Do we have any other questions?
Ma'am, you just said that you have been following a lot of protests in the previous years, which might not have end up in a complete film. So I was just curious, like, this is very positive all throughout, although there are the anti-state oppressions coming in. And I do believe that the other protests which do not end up in a green note also has that amount of integrity and honesty. So because you followed this many, can you differentiate, like, what is in this movement that makes it so different from the others which didn't work out?
No, it didn't work out for me. I mean, I couldn't finish my shooting or something. I was in Chhattisgarh, for example, and when Himanshu Kumar was there. But, the police attacked us, took away our camera and things. So, that film had to stop. I had to stop shooting that. Then I was doing the students movement. Then I saw so many filmmakers there. So I said, okay, and I don't live in Delhi, so it was. So I said, okay, there are so many filmmakers here. Some films will come out of it. And the same thing in Shaheen Bagh. I don't live in, in Delhi, and I was there. I saw also so many filmmakers there. But I did shoot for myself, but it wasn't enough material that I generated. But whether I make a film or not, I was there. I've been going also as a participant in these movements. It's not just that I go there and I have to make a film, And the nature of this film also emerges from the fact that the farmers are also there long enough for me to make the film. Suppose they was there just for 1 month, to wo film kya hota, So this film also emerged because the farmers also sort of persevered, and I also persevered with them, and so it's a sort of a combined effort in a say to tell this story. But the nature of different protests, I think Shaheen Bagh was such an amazing protest. I came to know about BKU Graha from Shaheen Bagh. They were the ones who were putting the langar there. And so this union. So I first heard about them and I thought they were so remarkable. So I actually learnt about BKU Graha at Shaheen Bagh. And Shaheen Bagh, the kind of safety that I felt in Shaheen Bagh, like, you sometimes you would be moving in such a crowd, and a crowd in Delhi just makes me feel scared because, I've grown up there, and I know all hands can go anywhere, and you know how women's bodies can be, grabbed and touched, etc. But when we were in Shaheen Bagh, you just felt complete safety. And in the same way, even over here, but although I know there was a bad incident that happened at the farmers' protest. At one point, the farmers' protest has become so big that all kinds of, sometimes even people who are not farmers had joined. And they were using this huge movement to maybe launch their own thing. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, we can talk about movements for a long time, the difference or whatever, but I guess we can go on to a next question.
I think we can take one more question from the audience.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for making this movie. Actually, last year we have seen your movie Part Katha, and actually, I personally was attached to a jute mill once, so I know the protest and the movements a bit. But that was not a happy ending, also. But in that movie, also, I can still remember a lady who was fighting for her family and for her vote also. And now in this movie, also we can find some ladies and men also who are fighting, and not only fighting, who are giving extra inspiration in their movement, and not only in the movement, after the movement, when you have made the movie, then in the audiences also. So in these millions of workers or farmers, how could you find the particular of them who are just making it the movement more perfect?
I know, I mean, I was just shooting that woman cooking, and then she talked about working for the Reliance Mall. I just loved her, I just loved that story, and I really liked her. That's how I meet people. I didn't go, I mean, I shot with many more people, but I stuck with some of them that I really liked. And also the other thing is that people have to be there, because a lot of people were coming and going. So you need a continuity in a film also. So that was also the reason that I could, Gurbaz was there. So I could actually shoot so many things with him. And he's also such an active person. He's working on the stage. So wo bhi hai, ki how many, what you can develop with a character.
Do we have time for one more question? Or, yeah?
Oh my God, 2 years. Editing was tough. Before that, translation. See, I am not Punjabi. I'm a linguistic outsider. But because I've lived in Delhi, I understand 50% Punjabi. But a lot of time, this Gaon ka dialect, I could not understand. And so, but when you're editing, you have to know everything. So it took us like a whole year to translate the material before I could, start. But we were, meanwhile, putting sequences, etc. It was very, very difficult to edit this film. I think it's just remarkable that I managed to do it, because its first cut was 3 hours, but then there was a lot of pressure to reduce it. I regret sometimes. I feel it could be longer, because I could have included stuff like landless laborers and many things like that. And but वो ही एक compulsion होता है festival का, ये वो कि length इतना होना चाहिए. I mean, I feel I should have been stronger and kept it a little longer. But yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'd actually like to close by saying that, protest sites are such dynamic spaces, especially one that goes on for more than a year. And it's fascinating when it's documented in the way that you have. But what we have to keep in mind is the incredible courage of those at any protest spaces. Yeah.
Can I just add something?
Absolutely.
Like, for me, the most important thing, and I feel like moving forward from here where we are, not just in India, but everywhere. You know, what is that most important thing that we need? We need a community of care, because what they're taking away, and what I found with the farmers were how caring they were about each other.
Absolutely.
You know, like sometimes, you know, waking up in the night and cooking rotis. And whenever we reached there, the first thing they would ask is, even whatever they were doing, they would ask, have you had tea? Have you had food? Or if you hadn't had food, they'll make food for us. And, you know, I could go to a village and say, oh, we have landed, and we would be 5 people, 4 crew member and 1 driver. And we said, now we need a place to stay, and somebody will feed us, and they will all divide us. Acha, Nishtha will stay here, and you know, these guys will stay here, and breakfast will be here, lunch will be here, dinner will be here, you know. So throughout the shoot, we could just land up anywhere. I have not experienced this in my 30 years of filmmaking. This care, you know, that they had. Yeah. And I think that is the key, and that is a key going forward. Yeah. So that's all I want to say, and that's what inspired me to just, you know, keep on making this.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Nishtha.